Hey everyone, Waddler-D here. We're back for a new Let's Play of an old game that I've already Let's Played. Kinda complicated, but nevertheless, it's Kirby's Dream Land 2 Deluxe by Nintendo, HAL Laboratories, and the help of KKZero putting this all together. He decided, you know what would be awesome to showcase? What would Kirby's Dream Land 2 look like on the Game Boy Color? And to see that Kirby is pink is a good start to the whole matter. Just to talk about Kirby Dream Land 2, though, this is the third game in the series after Kirby's Adventure, and the first question asked is why the hell am I playing this? Well, the reason why is because this is the second Kirby game I played, so it's fitting to stick with the way I went through the Kirby series, and this is a solid second outing for Kirby on the handheld, where you get introduced to copy abilities on a very primitive system compared to, say, the NES. I mean, sure, it's just a matter of color fighting the two, but the NES definitely had much bigger file sizes to contend with. But this is a pretty damn solid effort, and the most interesting fact is that Sakurai did not have much involvement with this, unlike the first two games in the series. But this one introduces something new: animal buddies. Rick, say hello to... Oh, Rick has got some pretty bad breath. Gotta fix that. But more importantly, animal buddies and a very interesting Kirby's Adventure Light on the Game Boy. And our lovable KKZero has added some extra customization. You can basically change the color of his status bar. You can turn off the status bar having conniption when Kirby is near death, but also turn off the fact that your characters will, if Kirby allies with one of his animal buddies, the status bar, health bar would change. Kind of neat, but the biggest thing here is the animal friend music, where if you get on an animal friend's back or in their talons, or let's not talk about Kine, you'll start hearing their theme. You'll get pretty much immersed in what their character is like, and it's a pretty cool experience until you hear it for the fourth or fifth time in the game. You're like, okay, that's enough. I know what Rick's theme sounds like. However, I'm definitely going to do this. I'm going to set it on for the first three levels, areas, whatever, and then for the rest of the game, I'm going to turn it off because, honestly, I don't feel like I need to hear in the fifth stage when I want to hear freaking Red Canyon's theme. Yes, I am spoiling all sorts of game in this. But more importantly, this is the first handheld Kirby game with a save file. And this is something that Kirby has stuck with after the first game. And I fully 100% agree with it, because passwords suck and your game should be 30 minutes long. And if you really want to see Kirby with a bomb in his mouth, you can do that and destroy one of your save files. But now let's get started with the story. And the story begins with Kirby taking control of the situation that has impacted his new place. And of course it starts off in Grasslands, where the Rainbow Islands is the topic of today's game. And what happened here is Kirby is kind of pissed off at King Dedede, ending up with a nice bit of decree where he's decided, you know what would be a great idea? Let's ruin all the transportation between these Rainbow Islands and then hide them behind some clouds. Kirby's kind of pissed off by that, but there's a thing. This is the start of the Dark Matter Saga, which is basically 3 games revolving around Kirby's taking on Dark Matter, a very prolific enemy in the Kirby series that has quite an influence upon many, many Kirby games afterwards. And it's kind of nice to see that it all started with the Game Boy. Also, finally have Paracel in hand. That is so damn good to see, but more importantly, this is going to be your discount sword, because Kirby does not have any sword in this game. And it's like, really? There's only 7 abilities. And before you get really upset about that or not give a crap, the reason being is that there is other reasons why there's only 7 abilities. And that main reason is the animal buddies, which we will be very introduced to shortly. I'm just showing off how Kirby is now turning into Mario all of a sudden. As long as you face fall on something, Kirby will bounce off of it for some reason. I feel that's not a bad idea, considering that falling into an enemy that doesn't die isn't a good idea, but we're done with the first stage. We got a good understanding what's going on. And then we get ourselves thrown into Kirby's Adventure real quick. Grab this star for some extra live. And yeah, stars are pickups in this game. And this is not the last time that HAL Laboratories and Kirby has this whole Mario wannabe kind of setup. Oh, I definitely want this. This is Fireball. Fireball is damn good in this game because Kirby is invincible and very quickly recovering from those invincibility frames until he runs into a wall. So whenever you're fighting a boss, be careful of that. And also be careful when you get hit because you start... This is the Kirby Adventure days. Sakurai has basically kind of set something up and HAL Laboratories is following it. Now we get to meet the guy that also has my damn ability at the moment, Ifrit. Unfortunately, Ifrit does not have invincibility frames, which would have helped him out, but Kirby can just run amok on this fool until you happen to bounce off the wall and into him, but it just goes to show that the player has the advantage in this situation, and it's kind of nice to see. But once you take him out, this bag drops, and then your friend's like, dude, I've been waiting for half an hour, dude, what's going on? And Rick. Rick is a damn good... Rick is basically the landmaster of this game. Whenever there is ground, Rick will conquer it, and that's a good thing, because Rick is pretty agile for a big guy. And more importantly, his abilities are pretty damn good, as you can see with the fire breath, like, just absolutely devastating thing. But we gotta see some other stuff to consider, and yes, Rick can hail just like Kirby, so it's starting to spread. This ability, you've seen at the beginning of the game, or at least in the cutscene, not a great ability. It does a great job immediately, but here's the problem. Let's see if we can address this problem. This guy's not going to do anything. Yeah, here's the thing you gotta watch out for. Until I kill the enemy I'm trying to show off with. So, can I stop doing that, please? Okay, this is what you need to worry about. Do not hold that down, because Rick becomes very, very vulnerable at that point. And if that hitbox did not protect you initially, you're going to be having somebody just waltz into your belly, and you're like, ow, pain. And did I mention one thing about this game, that when you have an ally like this, when you're riding on your animal buddy, you actually get a second health bar. Like, Kirby now has 12 freaking health. Quite incredible. And if of course, when your animal buddy takes 6 hits and runs out of health, he becomes kind of dead, or at least out of commission, and that means Kirby's back to his lonesome. The scary part about this matter is that if Kirby has very low health, once he's all alone, guess what? You're gonna have to deal with that 1 health situation. So try not to put yourself in a bad spot, but Rick is damn good. I like Rick. I enjoy every time he's in a game, and I hope to see him eventually, but the closest thing we got was Star Allies, I believe. Maybe. Possibly. I have to remind myself. And this is why we needed Paracel with Rick, because those blocks are only destroyable with Paracel, and Rick is the only one with a vertical hitting Paracel attack. Kind of crazy to consider. And these rooms will are pretty much one in every world. As long as you're aware where it is and what to do, you'll be totally fine. But there are some that are just asinine BS that you're going to have to prepare for. And how in the living hell did that work, game? Like, literally in the guy's face. And Rick just fails to hit him. So, get rid of Paracel with Rick once you're done with it, because it's honestly one of the worst abilities in my mind for him. Like, it's good for anti-air, but yeah, Rick's on the ground, man. That's all he has going for him. Another thing to consider is how the level design in this game is a lot different from the first game. There's a lot more platforming matters. It's because of Rick. Rick doesn't have the ability to fly like everyone else. Well, Kirby and someone else. But that's kind of a nice thing, because that means you actually have a platformer to play. Because I always found it a little bothersome to see Kirby just fly over everything. Just said, screw this platforming challenge. Rick now proceeds to say, hey, do it, person. Get past these platforms. Enough talking now, let's start meeting with our first boss. And if you can guess it, it is indeed... What the hell is going on with you, Whispy? Why you have this thing on your face? That's my question I asked when I first saw this guy. And he does have a new attack. Yeah, roots. But that's just the start of it. Not only does he try to stab you with his roots, he also has some pretty sneaky moves, like these air puffs are a lot more accurate, so sitting in one place is not the best idea. And he also does something kind of interesting with these apples that are dropping from the tree. Trying to wait for him to do it. Sometimes he's a little shy about... Yep, there he is. He tries to punch an apple at your face. So try to be careful around him. He's a little bit harder, but by that I mean he's probably 1% harder. If you're really, like, cutthroat, this fight can be, like, seconds long. Because there's a super star shot that takes about 2 hits on him, or 2 hits off of him instead of 1. Consider the falling on that one. And before we go into this, looks like foresty area, let's go back to Grassland and see how peaceful it is. And there's a star in this door now. Kind of concerned by this, but let's go check it out. Oh crap, it's a bonus game. And yes, you want to do this one, because the goal here is you need to collect all these stars while trying to not get pelted by all these apples. And if you collect all these stars, you will actually get 100% in this game. This is one of the requirements. And trust me, I would rather be these than the mini games that you have in Kirby's Dream Land 3, which are honestly the most god-awful thing I've ever experienced in a Kirby game. Oh, do not do that to me, game. But as long as you are very, like, persistent in collecting all these stars, the game will reward you handsomely. Not with all these lives, but also, more importantly, a free extra life for getting... Perfect. Yes, free extra life just for participating, and then the door closes and will never open up again, I believe. Like, once... Let me just check to make sure, because I'm not 110% sure. Yeah, the door is like... Yeah, you don't need all these lives, man. This is a Kirby game. Try again on another file. So, now that we're all done with Kirby's first... Like, Kirby's home, I guess, grassland... We're going to be going to even greener pastures that are just covered in trees. So next time, we're going to learn the wonders of big forest and who might be along for the ride. So thanks for watching. Have a great day, and adios.